The first thing the researchers noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that presses against your ears, making every breath feel too loud. Deep inside the lowland rainforest of northern Brazil, Dr. Aaron Blake adjusted his headset and glanced at the motion sensors. Nothing moved. No birds. No insects. No wind. "That's not normal," he whispered. The team had been sent after a series of unexplained disappearances near a deforested research zone. Satellite images showed nothing unusual. No large predators. No landslides. Just people vanishing, without signs of struggle. Dr. Lena Carter knelt near the forest floor, examining a strange pattern in the soil. A spiral, perfectly coiled, as if something had rested there for hours. "A snake?" she asked. Aaron shook his head. Too precise. And too big. That's when the audio sensor spiked. A sharp vibration pulsed through their equipment, reacting not to movement, but to sound. Lena's boot shifted slightly, brushing a dry leaf. The crunch echoed unnaturally loud. From the shadows, something responded. A massive serpent slowly uncoiled from beneath fallen branches. Its scales were dark, matte, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Its eyes were cloudy, almost blind, yet its head lifted with terrifying accuracy, pointing directly at Lena. "It can't see us," Aaron whispered. "So how does it know?" The snake didn't strike. It listened. Tiny muscles along its jaw vibrated, sensitive to even the smallest sound waves. Every breath the team took seemed to guide it closer. The snake tilted its head, adjusting, calculating. Lena froze. Research data would later confirm what they were witnessing, Seraphis audidus, a previously unknown snake species that had evolved to hunt using sound instead of sight. Years of deforestation had driven it underground, forcing adaptation. Its inner ear structure was unlike anything documented, capable of detecting heartbeats, whispered voices, even fear-induced tremors in human bodies. Aaron slowly raised his hand, signaling silence. Too late. A radio crackled. The snake struck with terrifying speed, not randomly, but precisely toward the source of sound. Its fangs slammed into the ground inches from Lena's leg. Venom hissed as it seeped into the soil, strong enough to kill within seconds. The team retreated in absolute silence, every step measured, every breath controlled. Behind them, the snake recoiled, waiting, listening, because now it knew humans were back, and it was learning.
By dawn, the rainforest was no longer silent. It was watchful. Dr. Aaron Blake replayed the audio logs inside the temporary field lab. Each spike matched a human sound. A cough, a whispered word, the scrape of a boot. Movement data, however, stayed flat. The snake wasn't tracking footsteps. It was tracking sound energy. Snakes can feel vibrations through their jaws, Lena said, pointing to a skeletal diagram on her tablet. But this is different. This one is focusing. They returned to the site with a single rule: no speech. Hand signals replaced words. Equipment was padded. Even breathing was controlled, slow, shallow, deliberate. As they reached the coiled impression in the soil, Aaron placed a tuning fork against a stone and struck it lightly. A hum spread through the ground. From beneath the leaf litter, the serpent responded, not with speed, but with precision. Its head rose, blind eyes unfocused yet accurate, aligning with the vibration's source. Thin muscles along its jaw quivered, translating sound waves into direction. Lena realized what they were witnessing, an inner ear structure tuned not for volume, but pattern. The snake wasn't just hearing, it was interpreting. Aaron wrote quickly, directional hearing via substrate-borne vibrations, enhanced cochlear sensitivity, jaw-to-ear resonance. They tested further. A low-frequency thrum from a portable speaker, nothing. A high, sharp click, immediate orientation. The snake favored edges in sound, sudden changes, the acoustic signatures of fear. Then the mistake. A technician's radio chirped. The strike came faster than before, not wild, not rushed. The snake cut across the ground toward the sound source, stopping inches short, tongue tasting the air. Not for scent, but timing. It waited, coiled tight, conserving energy. It's learning, Lena mouthed. Back at camp, the autopsy of their data was chilling. The snake adjusted between tests. Each exposure refined its response time. Each sound taught it more. The species, Seraphis audidus, wasn't just adapted, it was adaptive. Aaron connected the dots. Years underground had filtered out light. Sound became survival. Prey that spoke died faster. Prey that stayed silent lived longer, until silence itself became predictable. The snake began to anticipate pauses, the rhythm of breath, the tremor of a pulse. That night, the jungle went quiet again. Too quiet. No insects. No frogs. The food web had shifted. Something had moved to the top. Lena stared into the darkness beyond the firelight. "If it can learn us," she said softly, then stopped herself. They all knew the rule. Silence. Because somewhere beyond the trees, a blind head tilted, listening for the smallest mistake.
Fear has a sound. Dr. Lena Carter learned that as she watched the waveform spike on the monitor, thin, jagged, irregular. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't movement. It was the tremor beneath a heartbeat when a human knows something is wrong. They had set the experiment carefully. Motionless cameras. No radios. No spoken commands. The team worked in practiced silence, hands gliding through signals they'd rehearsed all night. If Seraphis auditus hunted sound, they would starve it of noise. For an hour, nothing happened. Then the snake moved. It didn't rise toward the speakers. It didn't react to the tuning forks or the soft ambient hum of the forest. Instead, it turned slowly, deliberately, toward Lena. She hadn't moved. She hadn't spoken. Yet the snake's blind eyes fixed on her position with unnerving certainty. Lena's breath caught, just slightly. Her heart rate jumped. The sensor on her wrist transmitted the data to Aaron's tablet, and at that exact moment, the snake's head tilted, as if confirming a calculation. "It's not the sound," Aaron wrote on his pad. "It's the pattern behind it." The snake advanced, inch by careful inch, pausing whenever Lena forced herself to slow her breathing. Each pause stretched into agony. The serpent was measuring, testing which internal signals meant prey and which meant nothing. They tried a countermeasure. A technician triggered a sudden burst of static from a distant speaker. The snake flinched, reoriented, then corrected itself, returning to Lena's position. It had learned to ignore false noise. The realization hit hard. Fear created micro-vibrations, muscle tension, pulse irregularities, involuntary tremors that the snake could detect through the ground and air. Sight wasn't necessary. Sound was merely the doorway. Fear was the signal. Lena's foot brushed the soil. The strike came without warning. The snake lunged not to kill, but to test, its fangs snapping shut inches from her boot. Venom sprayed, sizzling as it touched the damp earth. The serpent recoiled instantly, retreating into shadow. A warning, or a lesson. Back at camp, the data painted a terrifying curve. Each encounter shortened the snake's response time. Each human mistake sharpened its accuracy. The snake wasn't hunting anymore. It was studying. Aaron typed the conclusion he didn't want to accept. The predator has shifted from reactive to predictive behavior. That night, the forest stayed silent again. But this time, it wasn't fear that caused it. It was recognition. The animals had learned something the humans hadn't. Silence didn't mean safety. It meant the hunter was already close.
By the fourth day, the team stopped calling it an experiment. They called it exposure. Dr. Aaron Blake studied the latest projection on his tablet, overlapping arcs showing where the snake would strike, not where it had. Each arc tightened with every encounter, converging toward the same chilling truth. Seraphis auditus was no longer reacting to sound. It was predicting behavior. Predators wait, Lena wrote on the board. This one anticipates. They designed a final field test to prove it. A single volunteer would enter the perimeter in complete silence. No devices, no signals, no movement beyond what was necessary to walk. If the snake struck, it would mean it could locate a human without any external sound at all. The volunteer was Mark Reyes, a veteran field tech with steady nerves and a heartbeat that rarely spiked. Sensors were attached beneath his boots and around his chest, calibrated to detect micro-vibrations far below human perception. Mark stepped into the forest. At first, nothing happened. The jungle felt wrong, empty, like a held breath. Mark placed his foot down slowly, distributing his weight exactly as trained. The monitors stayed flat. No spikes, no alerts. Then the snake moved. It didn't come from the direction of sound. It rose from behind Mark, uncoiling from a bed of roots he had already passed. Its blind head lifted, tracking not where Mark was, but where he would be. Predictive lag, Aaron whispered in disbelief, watching the model adjust in real time. It's using internal cadence. The snake struck the space in front of Mark's next step. If he had continued walking, he would have died. Mark froze mid-motion. His heart slammed against his ribs, sending a sudden burst of vibration through his body. The snake corrected instantly, coiling tighter, recalculating. Lena slammed her hand down, signaling extraction. They pulled Mark back without a sound, but the damage was done. The data confirmed it. The snake could extrapolate movement patterns from internal human rhythms, heart rate, muscle tension, breath cycles. It wasn't hunting prey. It was hunting intent. Back at camp, Lena replayed the strike frame by frame. It's not faster, she said. It's earlier. That night, the perimeter alarms triggered without any sound. No footsteps. No voices. No equipment failures. Just the soft, impossible tremor of something heavy moving with purpose. Aaron realized the final, horrifying implication. In urban environments, subways, buildings, power grids, sound was everywhere. Predictable. Structured. A perfect hunting ground. The snake had learned enough. And it was no longer staying in the forest.